I know it's December and I should be watching Christmas movies and getting into the spirit of things, but I really wanted to watch a horror movie. And I wanted to watch Scream for a while. Didn't get to in October, so I did that tonight. It was awesome! Dude, that movie was terrifying and hilarious, and I appreciated it. Funny, the first 2/3 were absolutely terrifying. The last third was awesome. Really like Sydney as a final girl. Because it's not just one confrontation with the killer. You know, I'm probably not going to go into heavy spoilers here in case you haven't seen the movie. But she goes off against the killer Ghostface so many times in this movie, and she comes out every single time. That was awesome to watch. It was still suspenseful every single time. And the deaths were very, very creative. I knew the death scene of Tatum in the garage, so that was probably my favorite kill. Oh, and of course the killing who the actual killers were. That was a good one too. That was extremely satisfying. So it's a really, well, it's well written too. It's not just a slasher film with comedic elements. It's a mystery too. It comes full circle. There's a full arc. There's motive, all that good stuff, and it was entertaining. I'm pretty terrible at predicting twists, and I haven't seen too much horror, but I know enough of the tropes so that I kind of knew who was gonna die. But I did not know who the killer was, which was, I had a pretty good idea, but then it's like, okay, how are they gonna do this? And the twists are legitimately very, very good. If you're someone who hasn't really seen a lot of horror, even if you have, Scream still feels very, very fresh. I mean, actually, if you've seen a lot of horror, you probably have already seen this, so that's a moot point. Anyways, yeah, it was fun to watch. It was fun to see how 90s it was, the fact that cell phones are a luxury item, and seeing early caller ID. And you can see a little bit of it on the computer when Sydney tries to call the cops. The fact that the cops are active, and one thing I do think is a bit unrealistic is that okay, maybe not unrealistic, but I haven't had some positive experiences with law enforcement, but the fact that Sydney actually gets protection was something I felt like, wow, if it were me in that situation, I would not have had that. Especially considering in stalker cases, a lot of times there isn't protection for the victim until it's too late. So the fact that she gets protection was satisfying to see. It's probably the one thing where I thought, I don't know if that would happen in real life. Maybe it would. I don't know. I think maybe every case is different. But it's also fun to imagine, would you survive a horror movie? It also I know this is one of the early horror films that really deconstructs the genre and makes fun of itself. Like, oh, thank God I'm a virgin, because that is the only time a teenage boy would proudly admit that, is in this flick. And, yeah. I like the Ghostface mask. I didn't know it was a generic mask that they got the rights to for the film. I thought this was specifically designed for this movie. So it was cool. Really great to see. And the scares are good. There's good comedy. I do actually now want to see Scary Movie, which parodied this. Because I could see how I could see parodies of this film. It's a good film. It's fun to watch. There's good kills. There's legitimately good suspense, interesting characters, good actors. It feels like a horror movie for horror movie lovers. And I didn't like horror movies for a long time, but now I'm really gaining an appreciation for the genre and have a lot of fun with it. I like learning about the tropes and these ideas. One thing that is, they do something a little different, that the final girl survives and she's not a virgin, because she does sleep with her boyfriend. While some of the sexual politics certainly have not aged well, but she's not one of the, she's still somebody who isn't a virgin, she still survives. So yay, subversion of that trope. I like that they play with some of these tropes. I like that they actually do switch up some of the killer tropes. I'm not gonna spoil that. But I do like how they play with it. I like how they do that. I think that it was this movie that spawned I want to play a game. We're gonna play a little game. I think it was this movie, because I've heard that in other films too, and I've heard parodies of that line a lot. Yeah. Actually, there were a couple of characters I was hoping to die but didn't, but then I'm glad they didn't die. That makes sense. There was maybe one character who I kind of hoped would die. That's this minor character who's insulting Sydney in the bathroom. I thought, oh, she's gonna die, right? Nope. Sadly. This is not one of those catharsis movies. This is not Carrie. Though Carrie is referenced. And there's some horror movie trivia, and that's pretty cool. I appreciate that. I love movie trivia. I like that useless knowledge. Well, maybe when you're actually in the horror movie, knowledge of horror movies isn't useless knowledge. Still, thoroughly enjoyed myself, and will probably sleep with the lights on tonight.